Sports wish to thank Nike, MasterCard, Budweiser, Canon, and Brute for allowing us to bring you today's game commercial-free.
Well, the referee's not going to listen to Bora Milutinovic. He's going to kick it off, and we're underway.
This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Nike, and we are underway from Foxborough. Eric Wynalda and Reyna, they're in the middle with a lot of green shirts around them. Number 7, Ramon Ramirez. He's the man that leveled Lawless in the last meeting. And there's Alexi going up high. And a little elbow and the foul.
Yeah, that's an early message from Hermosillo to Alexi Lawless. That high elbow as he went for the challenge in the air.
Lawless sends it back to Casey Keller, who had a successful week. Now it's a dangerous situation and a goal! Oh my goodness, Hermosillo! As Keller tried to clear it out. Oh, how devastating can that be for the United States?
Well, what a total freaky goal. We've seen these happen in the last few years because of the new back pass rule where the keeper cannot pick the ball up when it's passed back by a player using his feet. And Casey Keller, though, has that kind of time, that kind of situation week in and week out in England. And his clearing kick did not have enough lift on it whatsoever. And it went smack into Hermosillo and then bounced back. 39 seconds into the game. And the thing we talked about at the very top, which was not to give away the early goal, that has come about for the U.S.
Because now does Mexico just pack it back in with a 1-0 lead?
Well, they certainly have that option. But on the other hand, they know the U.S. is rattled now, and this might be exactly the time to go after the U.S. and try to get a second goal and wrap it up.
That's the first goal Keller has given up in qualifying on American soil.
Well, look, you see, he touches the ball away from him. Now he's got to turn and hook it. And he doesn't really get enough lift on it and manages to play it right to the head of Hermosillo. What a freaky, fluky goal. But these goals do happen. We see them in the European Champions League, we see them in South America, and we see them here now in the World Cup qualifying.
Offense by accident, if you will, and it's the first goal for Mexico on the road in this qualifying, in this stage of it. Throw in coming up on the near side. That's Ramirez, number 7 for Mexico. Stewart right behind him as Wynalda will now give chase back into the midfield area. Wynalda with a quick burst.
Yeah, U.S. will try to pin Mexico down in their own end and force them to hit long balls like that and not allow them to build through the midfield. Try to win the ball early will be one of the U.S. tactics. Pressure, pressure, pressure up top.
5 is Davino. And he'll send it back to number 2, Suarez. And there was a little... Now look at how aggressive Wynalda's been on these last 2 ball shames.
Yeah, Wynalda knows that the key to good offense for him is good defense, frankly, because if he can help close them down and can draw some mistakes and win the ball back near the Mexican goal.
Wynalda with 30 goals in his U.S. national career, half of those coming under Steve Sampson's tutelage as head coach. As Agus will chase it down, now coming from behind Hermosillo, and it'll be a throw-in for the United States.
Well, I gotta say, the last thing that you would have predicted would be a mistake by Casey Keller of that nature. I mean, this man has been immense in the league in England and for the U.S., and it's really a stunning opening for him.
Yeah, it's Hernandez giving chase to Keller, and he gets it cleared out this time. On the near side, Ramirez sends it back to Davino. And Suarez, who was a late addition, there was a little problem with the lineup when it came out before the game, and Suarez was not listed on the starting lineup.
Yeah, well, I think it was another piece of poor gamesmanship, frankly. It was supposed to be an error, but I'm not so sure it was an error. But anyhow, Suarez is Emperador, the emperor back there. And we look at Casey Keller, who's got to get his focus back. If there's anybody on this team who can do that, though, it's Keller.
Well, I was about to say he had a great result this week over in England.
Yep. Getting his first championship as an English player.
Hernandez in the corner, and Agus, that's going to be a matchup we need to watch today. A matchup that concerns head coach Steve Sampson.
Corner kick.
So Mexico will get the first corner. There's a look at 15, Luis Hernandez, 28 years of age.
And a bit of a surprise starter because we thought there might be a more defensive lineup, but really Mexico going with 3 forwards.
Benjamin Galindo on the corner. Lawless was there. Ball is loose in the area. Now Hart's in trouble. Reyna doing battle with Suarez.
Well, John Hart's taking a very, very big gamble and trying to go one-on-one. I talked about the importance of one-on-one. I didn't have the U.S. penalty area in mind, however, as Hart's, the captain, gets stripped of the ball, but Claudio Reyna came to his rescue.
Now Hart's high in the air. He's feeling much better. He's had some injury problems, hasn't been 100%. We saw him in the game against Canada, was very sick in that game and had the flu that weekend. That certainly did quiet the crowd, that early goal, as Stewart and Pope defending on the near side. Pope comes away with it. That's Mike Sorber in the middle. He's taken off the ball. The foul is called.
Sorber, as we mentioned, very important in midfield. Has played, of course, in Mexico professionally. Brought to this U.S. team by Bora Milutinovic in the run-up to the '84 World Cup.
Sorber's had some injury problems, but he's played 3 consecutive games for the Metro Stars as Egus and Winalda trying to work in a 2-man game. Now it's cleared out by Mexico. Hernandez was over there. Taken away by the U.S.'s Hart's trying to find Stewart on the near side. Ernie Stewart. And taken off the ball there by Ramirez. And Mexico will come back at the United States. Sagué, number 11. Looked like it might have been a handball.
A play on, says the ref.
Ronaldo being chased down by Pardo. Ronaldo, the centering. Dooley was there. He couldn't get it through. What about the psychological effect on the U.S. players, Seamus, with that early goal by Mexico?
Well, it is tough. There's no question about it. There's an offside against Sagué. It is tough. But on the other hand, you know, you might argue that if you give up a goal in the 35th or 40th minute, you've got less time to make it up. At least they have 89 minutes to make it up. And they look to be very much offense-minded, the U.S. does.
Eddie Pope sends a long ball up the near side. Now, there was nobody there, Seamus. What was he trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I think he was expecting Reyna to break into that space, and it didn't happen.
Adolfo Rios is the keeper today for Mexico. Of course, the familiar figure, Jorge Campos, not there. He's had a knee injury. What did they miss with Campos being out?
Well, I think they miss maybe a higher degree of entertainment for us in the booth, but I don't think they miss very much at all in terms of quality of goalkeeping.
Sagué, yeah, with Pope in the tackle. Sagué, number 11, Luis Roberto Alves.
Sagué, 6'5", very dangerous in the air. Not as gifted technically with his touch, and Eddie Pope so far is 2 for 2 against him.
Sagué will turn 30 on Wednesday. As a throw-in, flipped off the head there of 27 Hermosillo, as Stewart sends it back to the midfield area.
Yeah, Mexico very definitely keeping 4 defenders back. Ramirez, number 7.
Egus was able to knock it away. Jeff Egus in the middle. He's got Winalda in front of him, and Reyna not able to come up with it. And the Mexicans maintain possession of the midfield now to the near side. To Galindo, and a dangerous situation here. The shot, and it's wide. Oh, my goodness.
Well, the U.S. got caught with a lot of players up, and
That
this
was
man Hernandez, yeah, he's the dangerous player on the counterattack. And you see also number 5 is Davina, who's a defender, but look, the U.S. caught way up. Marcelo Balboa, the sweeper, is caught up, and Hernandez with a great chance to score misses it.
Was that because Egus came so far up the field that last run by the U.S.?
Yeah, Egus made the run up and got dispossessed. The whole team pushes up with him, which they have to do to stay compact. but they didn't have enough depth at the back when they lost possession. They were in a straight line, and this man, Hernandez, can exploit a straight line defense by just outjetting them.
Well, Steve Sampson wanted to solidify his midfield defense. He's got Sorber and Dooley in there as Lawless now gets it over to Agus. Ty Keogh, your thoughts on what's going on in the midfield?
Well, the U.S. is in a difficult situation. They do have to step it up and fight at midfield, and they've started to do that. Reyna's stepping in, Dooley stepping in, because if they let the Mexicans have time to look up, they can exploit the space over the top like they did a moment ago.
All right, Ty, thanks a lot. 1-0 Mexico, and offside called there on Hermosillo.
Hermosillo may get a verbal warning here. Yes, he does, for shooting on goal.
This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by MasterCard. Roger Twibell, Seamus Mallon, and Ty Keogh with you at a sold-out Foxborough Stadium.
The referee's whistle had gone there for the offside, and he went ahead and shot on goal softly, but nonetheless.
Second offside by Mexico, and after that early goal, that ball that Keller tried to clear, and it went in for a goal. Mexico being very aggressive here in the early going, a couple of offside. Hernandez 15, Agus now with the ball for the United States, looking for some help as Pope comes up with it on the near side. That's Thomas Dooley. Do you think Dooley's more effective, Seamus, in the midfield or on the back?
Well, I think in this game today, midfield is the right position for him because he's more effective as a sensible distributor of the ball and also a person who can close down midfield. He's very much on Aspe. See him coming in front of Garcia, Aspe right there to win the ball. That's kind of the smartness, the cleverness that Tom Dooley brings to you. Good anticipation, good skills.
Winalda pressuring again that time. As the ball headed, Ernie Stewart tried to go up for it, knocked off it by Garcia Aspe.
Yep. It's another set ball situation now for the U.S. Good chance here.
Stewart limping, though, as he gets up. Ernie Stewart to miss the game in Costa Rica because of yellow cards.
Garcia Aspe coming in with the elbow. You could see it coming in there and then catching him around the knee with his foot. Claudio Reyna taking this kick. Very skillful at swerving balls into the penalty area.
Reyna, Wallace off the head and over the bar, and it's going to be a corner for the United States.
Such a good quality ball, though, by Claudio Reyna. Perfect. You see Reyna's Wallace giving him the thumbs up. Parksy now will take the corner with his right foot.
Dooley trying to bust free inside there. Pope off the top and over the top.
Oh, and they worked on this in practice this week. We watched this and heard about it through Eddie Pope making these runs from the far side of the penalty area. You'll see Pope coming in with a good run, finds the space, jumps over everybody, just can't quite get it down.
They have a couple of threats now with Pope, Wallace. Dooley's very good down in that situation.
Yes, the U.S. has got good targets in the air for that, something that I think Mexico is a bit worried about. Pope, I think, would love to have that one back because he did everything right except getting the header down.
Rios with the goal kick. He's 30 years of age, but just 16, making now 17 national team appearances as Reyna will take it. Parks streaking down the left side, and Reyna, not a good ball right there.
No, there's a good interception attempt again by Dooley, though.
Well, that was a clever move by Hermosillo as he headed it over to the far side and offside again.
Well, Hernandez has gone offside now 3 times, and he's just not using his head very much.
Reyna had it taken away. There were 3 men around him as he received that pass. 16 there, Coyote for Mexico. Now some space right there as Suarez sends it over to Hernandez. Agus marking. Hernandez sends it inside, and Keller comes to get it.
Well, the second defender went over to help out there because the second defender in that case was the sweeper, Balboa, but this matchup is something that Sampson is worried about.
Stewart missed it there, and taken by Mexico, Davino.
Mexico, you can still see 4 green shirts strung across the back there. And now finally Pardo goes forward a little bit.
that ball down as Keller seemed momentarily start to go down with the hands and then pulled back.
U.S. working this offside trap quite effectively so far, but it is a little risky tactic against speedy front runners.
Hartz has it on his foot, trying to find Ernie Stewart on the near side. Stewart being marked over there by Ramon Ramirez. And Ramirez is known for his physical play, and Stewart not happy with how that play ended up.
Well, we'll see. These two have clashed before, but that's the reach in by Stewart. But I don't think there's much of a foul here, is there? No, he took a dive. I thought it was a dive.
Mexico with 4 fouls so far. The United States 1.
U.S. defense now does not want to allow players to get in behind them, and that's why they push off and try to keep those runners in front of them, or if they run through, keep them in the offside position.
Zage, they're 11. Pope is on him, and Wallace will send it back up. Dooley got it, Pope and Stewart. Ernie Stewart, who's only played a couple of times against Mexico. The way things have worked out for Ernie, as Reyna tripped up from behind by Hermosillo.
Too bad. Reyna had done some good work there, holding that ball, not releasing it impatiently.
Off the head of Agus. Ronaldo giving chase. Now Agus is there, but Mexico able to retain possession. Pardo did a nice job to keep it. What about the U.S. defense so far, Seamus? What have you seen?
Well, the most important part of the U.S. defense today is the defense in midfield. That's what Ty was talking about a minute ago. And they're getting their shape a little bit better now. There's some good challenges coming in from Dooley. And the offside trap, they're trying to, is the only thing you've got to be a little worried about. The defense going forward and trying to lure people in behind them.
Stewart and Reyna. Claudio Reyna sending the ball down to Ernie Stewart, but giving chase there was Ramirez. Well, that's going to be a real battle today between Stewart and Ramirez.
Very definitely. This is going to be a war all afternoon. Again, the Stewart reach in.
It was like a reach
Ramirez,
around there.
Goes down.
That was a pull down. Seven is Ramon Ramirez as he takes the kick. Wallace gets a head on it, and another whistle. A lot of pressure on Alexi Lawless today, Seamus.
Very much so. But this is his home turf, Foxborough.
And Ronaldo with the pull down.
I think this referee is really getting conned left and right here. Sure, there's contact. Sure, these players contact, but the Mexicans are diving and getting away with it.
Now, Ronaldo's got a yellow card, remember, and Steve Sampson said last night, as far as protesting calls, he says if we do it as a team, that's fine, but don't go out as an individual and start protesting. Right,
and that's a terribly silly way to get a yellow card, is on a dissent, as it's called.
Fouls so far, Mexico 6, USA 4. As I mentioned at the top, 107 fouls in the last 3 games between these two teams.
10 fouls in 18 minutes. We're on schedule.
Galindo, 17, sent it inside, but Wallace takes care of it. Now Dooley on the run. He's got Hartz out wide, Reyna inside of him. John Hartz runs right into a defender. That's a bad ball there by Mexico as Stewart comes up with it. Ronaldo on the wing. Stewart gets it to Eric Ronaldo. Ronaldo, and off of number 7 Ramirez. It'll be a corner for the United States. Very smart play right there by Ronaldo.
Yeah, well, again, a giveaway by Hernandez, who is not the smartest player in my view. Very gifted, speedy, but his playing sense is weak. He gave it up, and the U.S. couldn't quite exploit it.
John Hartz to take the corner.
Now we'll watch Eddie Pope again, and of course Lalas and Balboa.
Dooley's right in the box and working out on top, Wallace and Pope. Low ball that time, able to be cleared out by Mexico. Now Agus giving chase on 15, Luis Hernandez.
Hernandez tripping in from behind. Good attack now by the U.S.
John Hartz on the near side. That's Mike Sorber, number 16. Hermosillo. And Agus, oh, beautiful job by Hermosillo. Hernandez looking to get around Agus. Sends a high ball and it crosses, and Keller is going to come out because Zage, number 11, was right there on the front doorstep.
Yeah, the defense had come back well to cover Zage, but you're right. Here's one of those dangerous back passes again. But the U.S. look a bit vulnerable when there is a speedy attack down the middle. Their pace looks a bit suspect at the back.
This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Budweiser. Mexico won. The United States nothing on a goal 39 seconds. Into the game by Hermosillo off a mistake by Casey Keller trying to clear the ball out of his own end. And the United States find themselves in a hole they never could have imagined this early in the game as Ramirez, number 7, gets it back, and Eddie Pope able to get a shoe on it and knock it across the goal line. It'll be a corner coming up for Mexico.
Well, that round Ramirez, that's the first time he's made a foreign run, and that is a normal characteristic of his play, and we've gone well halfway through this first half. It's the first time he's come forward. Now a dangerous situation for Casey Keller.
Galindo, number 17, to take the corner for Mexico. Low ball as Harks got a foot on it. Now Keller knocks it out. Is able to slide and get it. So another dangerous situation in the United States end.
Strange decision by Keller. It looks to me like the sun was right in his eyes. The sun is shining into that goal. May have had a hard time seeing it, but he made a weak punch for him.
It was clear most of the morning, and now some high wispy clouds have come into the Foxborough area, and occasionally the sun goes behind those clouds as once again Hermosillo is there, and Agus just has to knock it across the goal line, and another corner for Mexico. So any thought about Mexico laying back and being very conservative today as Steve Sampson, the U.S. head coach, looks on, it apparently is not going to happen in the first half.
Not with a one-goal lead. They sense a chance to get 3 points here and get a killer second goal.
Galindo, the corner, and headed by Harks, and Stewart runs onto it. Can he catch up to it? And he can't. Fought off by Pardo.
Yeah, well, Stewart very definitely committed the foul there. There was no dive that time. He pulled him down.
That was Pardo, number 13, over on the far side, and the U.S. will take the throw-in. Well, coming up next here on ABC Sports, a passion to play women's boxing, spectacle or sport. Would you want your daughter to box? A look at kids in the ring, and much more. That's coming up next here on ABC Sports. Well, after 4 straight days of heavy rain in New England, finally the sun broke out this morning. A sold-out crowd, about 70% American, as quickly now Mexico, Hermosillo offside.
I think it was a handball.
Handball. Flag went up in the handball.
Very definitely a handball there. And give credit to the assistant referee on the far side. He put the flag up, and that's why people thought it was offside. There was no offside. He was signaling that the ball had been handled by Hermosillo on the breakthrough. So you see how dangerous they are. Hermosillo is such a crafty player.
Mexico, 5 is Divino.
Very calm defense here, but that's a bit too calm. They're giving it away.
Sorber is able to get it to Dooley. Now back to Reyna. Reyna that took the blast from outside, went off a Mexican player, and now this is dangerous for the United States. But Pope gets back, and Stewart runs onto it. Sorber finds John Harks. Winalda's on the far left. That's Jeff Agus. Now Eric Winalda. Winalda tries to slip it inside. That defense for Mexico has been very solid so far, as Lawless trying to fight off Hermosillo and is able to do it. But taken right back there by Coyote.
Lawless doing the tough job with a good tackle, then distribution a bit loose.
17. Galindo sends it in. Ty, what about the U.S. defensively? Reyna with the ball right now.
Reyna has been spending a great deal of time at midfield despite being listed as a forward alongside of Winalda. Winalda so often by himself Still waiting for Ernie Stewart to come up and help him.
Agus has it taken away right there by Pardo. Pavel Pardo, 13, with a good defensive play. He's one of the youngsters for Milutinovic, just 20 years of age.
And Agus has got to come forward like that. Eddie Pope may try to do so as well, although he's got to be a bit more worried about the fast break of Zage.
Long ball sent down by Ramirez as Lawless able to clear it over the top of Dooley. Ronaldo, a piece of it. Here comes Claudio Reyna. But look at 5 green shirts back there before Reyna. And knocked off the ball is Ronaldo. And a foul call. 13, Pardo really gave a shoulder into Eric Ronaldo.
Well, as you mentioned, Claudio Reyna, the only one back up there, because now with 20 minutes to go in the first half, a new tactic is showing up. After a flurry of Mexican attack, they're going to go back into a bit more of a defensive shell as Pardo cracks into Ronaldo there. And they're just going to counterattack.
The United States with only 1 shot so far, and that came on the corner kick that Pope got a piece of. The United States has not created their own shot off their offense. As Agus to take the kick. And that's headed out easily by Hermosillo.
Well, a strange kick by Agus. That players for the U.S. lined up everywhere but where he put it.
Yeah. Reyna worked from behind there by Garcia Aspe. And is coming out to get it is Rios.
Is that Rios' first touch? He hasn't had much of a ball.
If it's not his first, it's just his second. But as I just mentioned, the only shot on goal off the corner. Now, the long ball, Zage giving chase with Pope. Lawless gets back. And Alexi Lawless. And the matchup that Ty was talking about. Zage and Pope.
Well, Pope deserves credit, too, for not selling himself and not trying a dangerous desperation tackle when it wasn't necessary.
Now Keller will take the long kick. Seamus, this is very similar to the lineup for the United States that they used against Mexico a few years ago and against Argentina when they had a lot of success. As coming down the near side, Garcia Aspe, number 8. Tries to send it to Hernandez all the way across. Agus got a foot on it, and it'll be a throw in for Mexico.
Well, some good applause from the crowd as Agus did not give away a corner kick. Instead, he used that nice cultured left foot of his to hook it out for a throw-in.
And an offside.
The minute the ball drops back into midfield, the U.S. defense pushes forward, hoping to catch Hermosillo offside, and they've done it about 4 times already. But as I mentioned, you've got to have that timing down perfectly. You've got to run forward as a team and trap them.
Now Keller sends it back downfield. Ty, what about that matchup you talked about at the top?
Well, Eddie Pope has got his hands full with Zage, as does Lawless with Hermosillo. What was key a moment ago is that Lawless came over and helped Eddie Pope, and the U.S. team really needs to do that.
Now Ronaldo knocked away momentarily by Garcia Aspe, and Ronaldo hits the deck. Ball coming near side to Ernie Stewart. He gets a head on it. Dooley running, knocked down in the box. No call. No
obvious
call.
dive.
Well, very definite contact made there, and the referee in a very good position. But he decided nothing was foul, and you can see that as we look out on the field. We'll take another look at it. I don't know, it's a tough one to call as a penalty because Dooley ran across him, had left the ground himself to try to trap the ball, and then just fell to the ground across the body of the Mexican defender. I don't think that should be called a penalty kick.
Harkes gets it to Dooley in the midfield. Back to John Harkes. To Ernie Stewart. Rios comes out.
That's what John Harkes needs to do a bit more of. He's so good at seeing the seams in the defense, cutting through, and almost a perfect pass to Ernie Stewart, whose run was perhaps a split second too late.
Long ball now down towards Hermosillo. Balboa gets a head on it. We haven't heard his name mentioned too often today as Reyna has it taken away, but Dooley gets it back, and Stewart will find Sorber.
And now it's all Mexican players back in their own half.
Claudio Reyna, number 21, has played in all 9 of the qualifying games so far for World Cup '98 in France. He's played in more than any other U.S. player. There's a look at the future of U.S. soccer. Claudio Reyna Plays in the Bundesliga for Bayer Leverkusen, just 23 years of age. He's been struggling somewhat. Very hard to get him past the 60, 70-minute mark in a game. It's not so much his wind or his endurance as his legs.
Yeah, that is very much a concern. And today, as the U.S. has got to battle to get back
Mitch,
into
I can give you something from the Mexican bench. I got something whenever you want to come.
Reyna to Pope on the near side. Eddie Pope has Eric Winalda. Winalda got the ball inside, but right to Rios, and nobody from the United States was near it. Harkes and Dooley, the closest offensive players.
And Harkes and Dooley.
This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Canon. James?
Harkes and Dooley, as you mentioned, getting up top. And Dooley a bit of a surprise because we thought he'd be a lot more in a defensive posture.
Mexico getting organized in midfield. The ball set down in the area of Hermosillo. Always Hermosillo Hernandez down there. Now Stewart trying to make the run, but a good job by Zage to come back and find him. Now Wallace, dangerous as Hermosillo's always lurking about.
Well, that was very dangerous, but Wallace, but perhaps indicative of the confidence he's feeling today.
Ronaldo tried to get a little ball over to Harkes and went over his head. United States currently ranked 21st in the world by FIFA. Mexico, the 12th rated team in the world. Zage, Hermosillo. Now Hernandez has got a lot of space out there, and Agus gives chase. And across the goal line.
Well, the U.S. lucky there that that man Hernandez was given a bad ball by Hermosillo.
Goal kick coming up for the United States. Casey Keller, who's got only 5 games left over for Leicester City in England. He's going to have some off-season surgery on his right elbow. He's got some bone chips that have been bothering him. And here comes John Harkes. Nice step over there by Harkes. Here's Dooley. Thomas Dooley, the blast from outside, and the swerving shot to the near post is just wide.
Well, you like to see Tom Dooley come forward like that, and he was helped out by Ernie Stewart, making a nice run to the right. You see Ernie Stewart pulling a defender there, opening up the space for him, and the shot goes through and just about a foot over the top. A good decision by Dooley. Sees some goal and goes for it.
Dooley has been seeing less playing time at FC Schalke, and there's a lot of talk that maybe he'll be in the MLS as early as next year. Now a long ball down to Hernandez, and Agus has been running and running and running, trying to keep up with the youngster. Good battle there right now. Agus able to knock it away, but chipped inside by Galindo, and Keller comes out high for it.
No problems for Casey Keller there, but again, typical Mexican attack that we're seeing now in the last few minutes. That is packing all the players back and then looking for the 50-yard ball up top to either Zage or Hernandez. A very effective tactic.
Now Reyna runs onto it. Now Reyna got a shot to the shoulder. It looked like it was Davino who got the foot up high. And you'll recall against Canada the battle he had with Forrest when the penalty was called, when he got knocked to the ground.
Yeah, it was a similar situation to the one you mentioned as he hooks the ball away.
Oh, goodness, that's dangerous right there.
Yeah.
A yellow card.
Well, they both were going in with high feet. The only difference was that the high foot from Reyna was directed very much at the ball, and Davino was over the top, I think. I mean, he may have been thinking he was getting the ball, but no way.
And for Davino, he just sat out the game against Jamaica along with Garcia Aspe because of the yellow card situation. So,
well, I hope Claudio Reyna is okay, because the free kick in this situation is his specialty. We want him to be able to do it. We got 11 minutes to go in the first half, with the U.S. still trailing 1-0 on that freaky goal off Hermosillo's head.
Look at this. Last 3 games, 107 fouls, 20 cautions, and 1 ejection.
Yeah, 21 cards in 3 games. I mean, that's really remarkable between two, shall we say, friendly neighbors.
And Mexico with 11 fouls today. The U.S. 5 as Reyna to take the free kick with Sorber right behind him. Lawless was there. Ronaldo goes up. There's a dangerous ball. Pope score! USA! Eddie Pope!
Slots it home. What a terrific goal for Eddie Pope, who scored the last time he was in this stadium.
Ronaldo was key there as he went high to get that ball and send it into that dangerous area. As now Claudio Reyna being given a yellow. Seamus, was it Reyna?
Claudio Reyna just got a yellow card. That's he's not carrying one at the moment.
No, he's not.
So that's number 1 for him in this part of the tournament, or in this tournament altogether.
Now Mexico quickly coming back. 13 is Pavel Pardo. Hernandez. Eddie Pope got the first goal against Canada. You mentioned the winning goal here in MLS Cup 96 in a downpour. So he has some very good memories, and the United States and Mexico now tied at 1 as Ramon Ramirez working near side, chips it in there. Sorber gets a head on it. Hernandez brings it down across the goal line.
Boy, what an important head by Sorber there. That could have been the go-ahead goal, frankly. 2 players ghosting him behind him. Mike Sorber, terrific, intelligent reading, getting back there and flicking it back. Now the U.S. got to be careful here. They're pumped up. They got the goal, but when you get pumped up, sometimes you start to make some mistakes. They've got to keep their composure.
And this crowd is really back into it. Look at Ronaldo giving chase, putting the pressure on the defense, and Reyna does the same thing. Now Balboa gets a head on it. Reyna with the touch off the head. And Zage will clear it across the near side, and we've seen a shift in momentum.
Well, we have, and the Mexican team now, they rattle themselves as the U.S. going all out. But the Mexican team is an old team. They're a composed team. They only get a little frustrated when they fall behind. That can happen, but they're used to this.
Now we've been notified that there was no yellow card for Reyna, just a verbal warning. Hernandez, near side, Garcia Aspe has it taken away by Reyna. He's got Ronaldo down the wing, but gets it back to Ernie Stewart. Now Reyna. Agus. Thomas Dooley as the U.S. on the attack again. Agus back to Sorber. Ty, what are you hearing on the sidelines?
Well, the Mexican defender's really working on Eric Ronaldo. They know he's fiery, and they're hoping perhaps to get him a yellow card or even ejected. When he came over by Steve Sampson, he just said, Steve, don't worry, because Sampson is trying to settle down Eric Ronaldo.
Good point. Very good point, because Ronaldo is a very emotional player. Dooley now on the far side. And a lot of touches here by the United States, Seamus.
Yes, this is taking a page out of the Mexican books. All the olays you hear are for these consecutive passes, about 15, 20 of them in the U.S., and they still have it.
Sorber chipping it down to Harks, and oh goodness, across the far side touchline.
Knowledgeable soccer fans applauding that.
Well, tonight on ABC in Arab, America's Funniest Home Videos, followed by a special edition of Prime Time Live. Then Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, and Lois and Clark's Terry Hatcher, ready for action at Tango and Cash. That's on the Sunday Night Movie tonight, right here on ABC. Roger Twibell, Seamus Mallon, and Ty Keogh. Foxborough Stadium, nearly 60,000. It's sold out, and the United States and Mexico are tied at 1.
Mexico has finally given up a goal in the final round of this CONCACAF qualifying, and it was a very important timing of the goal because it came in the 35th minute. It came in the first half. The U.S. did not want to go in 1 goal down.
DeVino sent it across the near side. United States will send it in. Ernie Stewart to Eddie Pope. Mike Sorber. That's Balboa, the most capped player in U.S. history. Agus and offside.
No, it went out of bounds, I think. I think he was onside. But...
And Agus was trying to tell him the whole ball wasn't across the line.
They say it wasn't over the whole line. I got it.
There's a look at Foxborough Stadium, home of the New England Revolution, the New England Patriots of the National Football League. And this has been a great stadium for soccer as Eric Wynalda is down on the ground. Now, Wynalda's had a bit of a groin problem of late.
I think that's what's happened there.
This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Brute. Wynalda was telling me last night that he's had this problem. It's just sort of been an ongoing problem. You see Sampson talking into a microphone there. He's got a, I'm not going to say a spy, but he's got a person situated up high somewhere in the stadium. And they're conversing about what's going on down in the field.
And Wynalda looked to be in trouble as we look again at the mini mic there. Yeah, there you see the earpiece.
The intrigue, the rivalry, the United States and Mexico.
Well, Wynalda injured himself in defending, trying to win the ball back, as we talked about earlier. Here comes Ernie Stewart.
Now Stewart sends it down to Wynalda. Eric Wynalda duly in front of him, and Wynalda not able to get onto the ball. Mexico will take it away with 17, Galindo.
Yeah, I think that shows us a little bit about Wynalda there. He normally would have been a bit more authoritative about that run.
Now, Mexico with Hernandez over on the far side. Double team there by Agus and Harkes. Good job by John Harkes to come back and help. Now, Zage on the back of Harkes in a dangerous situation here as Hernandez cannot get a hold of it. Sent to the middle. Garcia Aspe sends it near side. Now Garcia Aspe again able to hold on to it.
So good, Garcia Aspe.
Ramon Ramirez, number 7. Chips it inside. Balboa gets a piece of it. And Pope clears it out. Now, coming up from the back was Suarez.
Well, Eric Wynalda gave up on that ball too, but watching Eric closely, I think he's really not comfortable at the moment at all.
16, Coyote sends it to the far side. Galindo inside. Hermosillo, Dooley gets a piece of the shot! Just wide! Oh, just wide as Pardo.
Well, that is, I think Garcia Aspe actually finally fired that one up. Yeah, it looked to me like it was, well, maybe not. No, maybe you're right. It was Pardo. Excuse me. You see it rolls away there. No, it isn't. It is Garcia Aspe, number 8. Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, look at that swirl.
That is a huge break for the United States because Garcia Aspe is absolutely deadly from that range. He scored the last goal the U.S. conceded to Mexico when they played here, when they played in the 97 U.S. Cup.
And let's clarify for the final time, we've now received word again that Reyna did indeed receive a yellow card for dissent.
I thought I saw the card out. Yeah.
But we've had a couple of changes so far in this game today, and even before the game, there were some changes.
Into the last 2 minutes, critical time for the U.S. here. Plug that up, don't give anything away. They fought back into the game. They do not want to give the lead up at this point.
Now Harkes battling midfield, taking off the ball right there by Coyote. And a foul call.
Harksey, I think, feeling
got an eye.
Shot in the eye there, but took a bit of a gamble in trying to pull that ball back in the middle of 2 players in midfield, and caught an elbow and went down. Well, it looks like it's already black.
It's the United States team bench. And so far, fouls, Mexico 12 and the United States 6. Yeah. It has been a physical game. We thought it would be a physical game. And the United States and Mexico, we share a border and now becoming more and more sharing a passion for this game. And this rivalry has really intensified in the 90s. A number of U.S. players who played professionally in Mexico. Mexicans that play here as 17. Galindo with some space, trying to get it to Hermosillo. And Lawless was able to get a foot on it. Now Zage working on Pope. He loses Pope, spins around. Dooley is there. The ball right in front. And Harks sends it out.
Now they're calling Ronaldo offside, I think, here, because when the ball was played out to him, Ronaldo was across in the opponent's half. So he was offside. We took a brief look there at Harks, and I think you can see that Shiner came out. Yeah.
He's got one working.
Dangerous play now for the U.S. They've got to get some composure here defensively.
Tied at 1 as we approach stoppage time at Foxborough Stadium between the United States and Mexico. Pardo over there on the far side. Chipped inside, and offside is called. Hermosillo was right there and does not agree with the call. And there is the senior, we call him the 5th Beatle, Bora Milutinovic, former U.S. national team head coach, and of course his former assistant Steve Sampson replaced him here with the United States. You know, Bora went through some tough times when he went back to Mexico, his second stint there. There were a lot of people dissatisfied with him on his return.
That's right, he tried a lot of young players.
As Steve Sampson has used here in this late 96, early 97, looking at a lot of young players.
Results did not go so well for Mexico, and he heard it from the fans. In fact, they ended up finishing second in their first round qualifying group, but they're out in front right now of this group, although tied today 1-1 as we get close to halftime. The clock stops in the stadium here with 2 minutes to go, which I find totally inexplicable.
And there's the whistle right there. So we have reached halftime at Foxborough Stadium. World Cup 98 qualifier between the United States and Mexico, and it's been a physical first half. A very early goal by Mexico, and the United States came back with Eddie Pope after that early blast by Hermosillo. And let's go down now to Ty Keough.
Steve Sampson, how concerned are you that the...
We wish at ABC Sports to thank Nike, MasterCard, Budweiser, Canon, and Brute for allowing us to bring you today's game commercial free. This segment of the game is presented commercial free by Nike. We're underway second half. Foxborough Stadium. Roger Twibell, Seamus Mallon, Ty Keough as the United States and Mexico. 3 points for the winner, 1 for a tie. And I think Bora Milutinovic would be very happy with this result if this is the way it ended up.
I think he would be quite happy, because they really, although they've had the ball in the penalty area a few times in the U.S. in dangerous situations, the U.S. has been able to clear it, and their one goal certainly was one of the freakiest we've seen in a long time. So Harks with that puffed eye after the encounter in midfield. It's going to be very interesting in the second half, Roger, to see if this war in midfield continues, because that's where this game is going to be won or lost, it seems to me. Not just the fast break by Mexico.
Well, we'll look for Winalda and see how he comes back from that strain of his hamstring groin area. When he went down in the first half, there's Eric Winalda right down there. As Hernandez will move it over to the far side. Ernie Stewart giving chase down by Ramon Ramirez and Zage, number 11. So no changes for either team as we start the second half in Foxborough.
Zage coming back with Hermosillo there into the midfield to help out.
Now Pope giving chase on this ball. Keller coming out. That was a great job by Eddie Pope to keep himself between the ball and Zage so Keller could come out and get it.
And a very quick run by Casey Keller, who's very good at that, getting off the line, smart.
Garcia Aspe over there being chased by Thomas Dooley. Mexico, who defeated the United States in Pasadena, U.S. Cup 97, 2-0. That was their first win over the United States in the U.S. since back in 1974.
And they've suffered a couple of tough losses. One, the 4-0 lost in 95 in Washington.
Cost their coach his job, and that's how Milutinovic got back in the mix, as Egus able to trap the ball on his foot, bring it down. Gets it to Dooley in the middle. Back to Agus. Now running onto it is John Harkes, the team captain. Ronaldo behind. And Harkes now sending it for Ernie Stewart. And off number 7 there, Ramon Ramirez.
Oh, what a great change of play by John Harkes. Trying to find Ernie Stewart. He found Ernie Stewart, and his volley intended for Tom Dooley just knocked out for corner. Now, the U.S. has looked very dangerous on this set pieces. This is the goal in which Eddie Pope scored the winner.
Third corner of the day for the United States. There you see that bruise under the eye of John Harkes. Curving ball headed out right there by Garcia Aspe as Reyna gets it back to Harkes. That's a higher ball this time. In a dangerous situation, and Rios comes out and falls on it. It looked like Balboa had an opportunity to get there. He just got tangled up with some other players.
Yeah, well, the Mexican players also shielding the ball very well. The second cross by Harkes better than the corner kick, which was driven a bit too low. Marcelo Balboa back in the lineup, having been left out in Costa Rica. Could be some second thoughts about whether or not that was a good decision, given what happened in Costa Rica.
117th appearance today for Marcelo Balboa for the United States national team.
Mexico very good at keeping the ball. They rarely panic.
Well, you know, it's evident Lawless plays much better when Balboa is back there.
Seems that way, yes.
Yeah, you see Winalda giving chase again. It's a good aggressive move by Eric Winalda. And he has been running after every ball today as Agus was battling right there with Luis Hernandez. Oh, nice touch right there by Hernandez. Barro got it inside to Hermosillo. Now Hernandez will chip it in there. Zage traps it off his chest, and Eddie Pope will chase it down.
Well, a big opening at the center of the defense there. That Eddie Pope from his far side position came in and covered very nicely. But good possession by Mexico. And a very, very dangerous set of passes strung together.
Galindo just taps it in. As Pardo battling with Stewart. And the foul against Mexico.
Well, very good approach work. And this is a great pass in there, clearing over Lawless, clearing Balboa. But look at Eddie Pope come forward, take advantage of the trap off the chest of Zage and steer it into safety.
Ty, you got something on Eric Winalda for us?
Yes, the U.S. trainer Rudy Radowski tells me that Winalda just took a knee to the groin, so it's not a problem. It won't affect his running. Very painful at the time it happened, of course.
All right, Ty, thanks. As Reyna tried to send it down to Ernie Stewart. Now Dooley got a piece of it. It goes back, and Ramirez will come up with it.
Ernie Stewart is getting open a lot on that far right side. Oh, there's a bad tackle. He finally calls a late tackle by Hermosillo on Lawless.
Now, Alexi has played in 33 of the last 35 national team matches for the U.S. Offside call there.
No, he didn't call it. I take it back. No, he didn't call it.
The flag went up.
Lawless was astonished that the tackle on him wasn't called, and a free kick was given at the other end, and then it was offside. Finally, Hermosillo and Lawless have been hammering each other.
Alexi, and there's his look-alike. There's his twin. Who's your buddy? There are a lot of Alexi likes here in Foxborough. Of course, Alexi plays for the Revolution. We just so happen to have a game right after this one today. And Sorber pounded a shot, and Galindo took it full force right in his chest as Marcelo Balboa will find Claudio Reyna.
They're looking for Stewart if they can possibly get it to him.
Eddie Pope drops it back to Stewart. Sorber and Agus. Agus has settled down a little bit against Hernandez late in the first half as John Harkes. Oh, what a nice crossover move there by Harkes. He gets the ball. Winalda has got to dribble it back. Dooley off the foot. Reyna off his chest. Stewart. Sorber.
Well, you could see that coming. Just from the approach work of Sorber, that ball was always rising because he had to pivot and turn on it, and he just scooped it out. But terrific possession by the U.S. in a very composed manner around the penalty area.
Mike Sorber, native of St. Louis, Missouri, and the U.S. crowd back into this thing after getting the tying goal from Eddie Pope. As now the United States with some good pressure here. Reyna looking for Stewart. Play on. Stewart being chased from behind by Ramirez. He goes down.
Well, Stewart was hit from behind and tried to keep his footing. You could argue that maybe if he hit the deck, he might have gotten a penalty. On the other hand, he might have gotten a card for diving.
That's Ramon Ramirez, 27-year-old that plays for Guadalajara.
Well, he's a dangerous player coming forward too, Rogers, so part of Stewart's job is to keep Ramirez back.
Lawless and Dooley. Now Mexico takes it. Galindo into Hernandez. Here comes Keller. He chips it over the top. Score! Mexico! Luis Hernandez.
Great little soft pass by Galindo. As he's all alone, Hernandez is. Alexi Lalas comes over, but he's a central defender. He's got to worry about the center, but look at Agus for the first time lets Hernandez get alone. Agus was not on his man there when the ball broke to him, but he got to give a lot of credit to the quality of the ball served by Benjamin Galindo.
54th minute for Hernandez. And Mexico leads the United States 2-1. So once again, the U.S. with their backs against the wall, and similar to what happened down in Costa Rica. They fell behind there, tied it at 1, fell behind again, tied it at 2, and then let a late goal beat them. Agus gets it that time back to Balboa. And then a whistle.
The 15th time.
This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by MasterCard. There's Luis Hernandez, the man that got the goal. Marcelo Balboa for the United States, set to take the kick. And Casey Keller, who gave up 3 against Costa Rica in the last outing. He's given up 2 so far today. Coyote sends it to the far side. Ramirez trapped off the foot there of Garcia Spain. He sends a long ball to Zage, battling Eddie Pope, and against the side of the net. And Zage pleading for the corner, and it's not going to happen.
Well, Eddie Pope deserves a lot of credit for this because he made a very good defensive run, and Zage was all over him physically too, as is expected. But Eddie Pope kept his pace and kept his strength and was able to see that situation out.
Stewart taking it back. Pope now will send it into Keller. It's a little pop-up that Sorber misses in the air. Wallace gets a foot on it. And to the near side. It'll be a throw-in for the United States.
Yeah, USA in a bit of disarray at the moment, Roger. That goal really shocked them because they were back in this game. They were looking comfortable. They were finding spaces up top. Stewart was looking dangerous.
And they had a couple of opportunities. They were pressuring offensively. As Sorber knocked from behind, no call. As Balboa gives chase with Hermosillo right there. Agus gets it to Alexi Lalas. And offside.
Referee says play on. Intercepted.
Yeah, Reyna gave a good chase. Now Winalda. And he loses it across the far side. Seamus, I don't recall the U.S. being this aggressive coming back at the keeper for balls like this. I mean, this is really an effort that Reyna and Wijnaldum are putting forth today.
It's very much of a strong effort by them and very much of a conscious tactic to try to keep Mexico from building up through the midfield or from having easy, safe balls forward. But it is a high-energy activity as well, Roger. It takes a lot out of you.
Dooley is able to tackle that way, but Mexico retains possession with Ramirez on the far side. U.S. getting back in their defense as Hernandez giving chase to it. Is able to bring it in.
Well, it is ironic that the thing Sampson feared most eventually turned out to happen, and the thing that he probably feared absolutely least caused the first goal.
Nice tackle by Dooley. Wijnaldum comes up with it. He's got Stewart, and look at Wijnaldum run onto it. Eric Wijnaldum, he's got Reyna in the middle. Wijnaldum's pushed off the ball. They're calling a handball?
No, he's given a goal kick. U.S. got to be careful here.
A quick goal kick.
They're all protesting to the referee. Meanwhile, Mexico's bringing the ball forward.
Pardo, 13, lets it go to Hernandez. And Agus battles off Coyote. Sorber. United States trying to get settled now, get organized as Ronaldo made a terrific run. Agus sends it across, but the U.S. player is not there. As Galindo. On the far side, ball centered in, and Balboa takes it. Now John Harkes. A lot of room in front of him, being dogged by Hermosillo from behind.
Well, let's take a look at Eric Wijnaldum going around the corner of the defense here. You see the power and powerful run. There's the nudge and the push, and he tries to stay up. And once again, you got to wonder if he just simply fell, if he would have gotten the penalty. Referees sometimes feel that, you know, if you take a dive like that when you could have stayed up, then you shouldn't get a penalty, and you may get a yellow. So it's a tough call for both that man, Wijnaldum, and the ref.
Agus on the kick. And look at Reyna. Reyna with a shot, sliding from behind. A beautiful job there by Pardo. Now Reyna sending it inside and headed out by Zage. Stewart takes the blast and wide to the right.
Well, if you want a ball to drop to anybody, Ernie Stewart's as good a one as you can find. He's been scoring goals in Holland this year in a very successful season.
Hermosillo shaken up on that last play. Of course, he should have been shaken up on that first goal right off his face. On the clear by Casey Keller. Now Davino sends it down. Hernandez to Zage. And Sorber will get it over to Stewart. Now Wijnaldum shielding himself from Davino. Eric Wijnaldum with Dooley in the middle. And Davino last touched it. Corner coming up for the United States.
Well, this is what they want. We talked about the U.S. making one-on-one situations down the flanks as part of the keys for victory, and that man Eric Wijnaldum has certainly done his part of the one-against-one situations around the corner against Davino and against Ramirez.
And John Harkes, fourth corner for the United States today. Wallace got a piece of it over the top. Next Sunday at 2 Eastern, 1 Central and Pacific. Right here on ABC Sports, it's the Bosch Sparkplug Grand Prix. The defending champion is Michael Andretti. That's coming up next Sunday at 2 Eastern, 1 Central and Pacific on ABC Sports. Wallace getting tangled up with a Mexican player.
Hermosillo.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Now long ball headed down toward Wijnaldum. Sorber got it back there in midfield, and Agus will find Harkes, who times and have a real good effort. And look at Lawless. I mean, Hermosillo turns around and finally gets the attention of the referee.
Well, Hermosillo did a good job preventing Lawless from getting the header. Kept his position nicely, and then eventually Lawless had to foul him to stop him from breaking away. Well, you see Hermosillo doing a nice job preventing Lawless from getting to it, and then obviously he just held him back.
You look at Hermosillo, he's got the face of a prize fighter. You know, he looks like a tough guy, doesn't he, Seamus?
He's a tough guy, and he's a very, very clever player. He's one of these players who always finds the empty spaces in front of goal. Kind of a natural scorer.
Dooley takes it away on the near side at Ernie Stewart. He's got Reyna down in front of him as Dooley will try to run onto it, and he can't get it because Garcia Aspe was there. Now Sorber, the Harks, Reyna.
Oh, Reyna held it up when he could have released Sorber on that far side.
So Sorber's got to send it back, and there's a bad. There were 4 white shirts and that went to the green one, and that was Hermosillo. As Akis comes up with it. Zage, number 11, has come out, and Nicolas Ramirez, number 20. He's 23 years old. This is just his 9th cap for Mexico, has checked into the game. Hermosillo fights off Balboa and gets it back out to Galindo. Ramirez pulled Dooley down. And the foul on Dooley. Crowd rather subdued here right now. Now the official says I wasn't ready. The referee, Ubaldo Aquino from Paraguay, told him, you wait until I tell you to go. 17 over there. Galindo is putting it down. And the free kick right at Keller. It was Galindo that put the ball down, but he did not take the free kick. That was taken there by Garcia Aspe, and this segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Budweiser. As Casey Keller sends it downfield. Stewart got a piece of it to Reyna from Ronaldo, and Reyna still battling. And finally, Agus comes down, but a nice defensive piece of work there by Davino. And right in front of Harks, another good defensive play by the Mexican team.
Well, Sorbo wanted, or Harks wanted that ball served farther wide because it enabled the defense to cut it out.
Pope throws it into Dooley. Agus comes and finds it. He'll send it to Ernie Stewart. Stewart's got Winalda right there. Number 11, Eric Winalda. Right off the back of 13, Pardo. And Hernandez will clear it back to midfield. Ty, what's going on with the Mexican team right now?
Mexico coach Bora Milutinovic obviously made a tactical substitution, taking off a forward to put on a defender or midfielder in Nicolas Ramirez, but he's also telling his defensive central midfielders to drop back more and only counter on a loose ball situation, not get players going forward.
All right, Ty, thank you very much. We just had a yellow card pulled out. I think it was Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramon Ramirez, number 7. The bad foul he committed on Eddie Pope.
And he didn't bring a yellow in with him, as Dooley will trap it off the foot and send it back to Ernie Stewart. Now Stewart just sends it right to the middle and taken away there by Galindo.
Yeah, bad mistake by Ernie, who wanted to chip that over and just got over the top of the ball in his pass. Well, I tell you, as Ty says, Zage has gone out, and Eddie Pope has got to feel pretty good about his afternoon against Zage. He neutralized him pretty darn effectively.
Agus back to Stewart. Now Agus running onto it. Jeff Agus, he's got Winalda and he finds him. Suarez is over there. Suarez is number 2. Winalda sends a bending ball in. Dooley was coming through, but Rios was right there to grab it.
Nice attack by the U.S. Good play by Rios to come out and take that ball away under traffic. But terrific play by Agus going forward. So he's taking some risks now, leaving Hernandez behind as he goes forward.
Now Eddie Pope. He's got the U.S. goal today, as Reyna was signaling handball against the Mexican defender there, Garcia Aspe. Now the crowd's starting to get back into it a little bit more. Balboa moving up. Look at Marcelo Balboa up there, but headed out by the green shirts. As Hermosillo finds Hernandez near side, and Hernandez working on Agus. Wallace comes to help, and Wallace tripped up right there, and the foul on Hernandez. And is that a red card? That was a red card.
A red card
on Hernandez.
Wow, the referee has to decide that this was a deliberate intent to injure. Let's take a look here. The ball is played away, and he obviously takes the legs out from under Alexi Lalas, but we've seen worse fouls than that, in my view. So to give a red card for that, well, that's certainly what a life saver that is for Jeff Agus. As he sees the back of Hernandez. Mexico down to 10 players for the next 21 minutes. There's another look at it.
You know, Seamus, he didn't extend his leg at all. I mean, it wasn't like he stuck his leg out to trip him, but Hernandez will leave the field now, and Mexico will be playing with 10, leading 2-1. There goes Hernandez, who got the go-ahead goal for the Mexicans, and he leaves the field, and Mexico will play a man short. And we'll watch their defensive strategy right now. Zage has already come off.
Wow, this is a great chance for the U.S. now. I mean, admittedly, 20 minutes, not a lot of time, but you've got 10 players from Mexico out there and 10 tiring players. So they've got to pick up the pace the U.S. has and try to find some of those spaces that might crop up in midfield. But essentially, it means that they don't counterattack as much.
Pardo was a man that took it away. But you can't get careless. These Mexican players are very creative. They can hold on to the ball, even a man down. As Hermosillo gets it into the midfield area. And Garcia Aspe, number 8, over to Ramirez, 7. And now look at Mexico on the attack. Ball cleared out as Nicholas Ramirez, the recent substitute, sent it inside. And you have to wonder now, Steve Sampson, and how he is going to attack Mexico one man down.
Well, as I said, Agus can attack up the flanks a bit more. Doesn't have to worry about Hernandez, but the U.S. got to keep their concentration in midfield, and they've started to lose some tackles in midfield, and that can help.
Seamus, you get another attacker in there right now.
Should the U.S. throw another attacker forward? Are you saying, or should Mexico bring in?
No, should the U.S. get another offensive, minded player in there?
Well, there certainly are some options in the bench for them to go to, but Winalda looks really hot at the moment, and so does Stewart. So it'll be a question of taking out a midfield player. Perhaps Reyna may be running out of gas. That'll be interesting to see.
Well, the last game he went 70 minutes as Stewart gets it inside and headed out by the Mexicans, as Balboa will now move up. You remember in the World Cup in '94, the game against Brazil on the 4th of July, when the Brazilians had to play a man down against the United States when Ramos was hurt.
Great ball for Ramirez out there to send Garcia Aspe running.
And Reyna pushes the man off the ball. That was Garcia Aspe.
Well, if you're playing against 10 Brazilians, that's something else. Playing against 10 Mexican players gives you a little bit more of a chance, but Brazil is pretty darn special.
Balboa slides after it, and now Marcelo Balboa down on the turf checking out his mouth.
Mexico will probably play with only one attacker, however, since they are quite happy with the 2-1 lead and wouldn't be distraught if it ended up 2-2, but they'd love to get 3 points here.
Agus, and the ball taken away by Hermosillo.
Well, he's worked hard, Hermosillo. Bogdan Milutinovic was slow to bring him into the team. Fans were upset, but since he's been in the team, he's been magic.
He was a leading scorer in the Mexican League like for 3 straight years, and he was having a hard time getting on the national team.
Well, he had a bad reputation in the national team. He did not do well when he played it. Good move by Pope.
As the ball goes inside and Rios comes to get it. And well, we thought this was going to be a very physical game, and look at so far today. Davino, Ramirez, Hernandez, and then Reyna with the yellow card for the United States, and a total so far today of 30 fouls in this game. Bogdan Milutinovic, the head man for Mexico, former coach of the U.S. national team, still very close to a number of these U.S. players. Mike Sorber lived with Bora for a year. Players who had not had the opportunity before were given the opportunity by Bora to play on this U.S. national team. So now the crowd starting to get up and get into it more as Ronaldo flicks it off his head to Ernie Stewart. Stewart sending it to Dooley off his head, and nearly, and it's an own goal! It's an own goal! And it's tied! Nicholas Ramirez, number 20 on the own goal. We've seen a lot so far today, Seamus.
What a wild game this is. Give credit to Tom Dooley for getting a flick onto this ball. Watch Tom Dooley. The ball comes in. See Tom Dooley make a little flick right there. That's the flick on Ramirez. It changes direction on Ramirez at the last section because of that flick, and into the corner off the post. Amazing game. 2-2, 15 minutes to go. The U.S. with a man-up situation still.
Crowd on their feet here now.
Here's another look. Maybe you'll see it a little bit better. And the flick on. There's the touch. And as I said, Ramirez was thrown off by that little touch. That was done by...
That wasn't a little post. That was a lot of post right there. Now Mexico, and Harks steals the pass away, and Angus will come from behind. Angus trying to get the ball across to Ernie Stewart. He does find Ernie. Ball across the goal line, and this segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Cannon. And a corner kick coming up for the United States. It'll be their 5th of the day.
Well, let's see what they can do here. They look terrific on corners when they've been driven in. Eddie Pope.
Reyna's going to take the corner.
Yep.
Claudio Reyna, the ball swerving in as Sorber chases it down and gets it back over to Reyna. Stewart back to Reyna. Nice little 2-man game here. Ernie Stewart runs onto it. Stewart has it taken away, and Nicholas Ramirez will clear it out.
What nice play in the box by the U.S. though.
Now, a dangerous situation on the far side is Sorber giving chase over there. And Sorber able to clear it away from Ramon Ramirez. And Eddie Pope. No, they said they went across.
Wow, what a heads-up play by Sorber. And Eddie Pope coming back almost saved it, but we talked about how important Sorber was at the top. And now here does come the substitution.
David Wagner. David Wagner will replace Thomas Dooley. So Wagner will be making his 4th U.S. appearance, and a nice round of applause. And he was the source of a little controversy earlier this week, was Wagner, who was an American who lives in Germany, because a protest was filed by Canada saying that he had played nationally for Canada. Well, he had played in an under-17 friendly, for Germany, pardon me. And there was another David Wagner in Germany who played for the German national team.
Well, this is an interesting substitution. Tom Dooley has been playing a terrific game up top for the U.S. as an attacking midfielder when we thought he'd be more defensive. And now...
And we got another substitute. Wallace is going to come off. And checking into the game is 14, Michael Mason. Wow. So these 2 young German Americans, both with American fathers, German mothers, who grew up in Germany and play in the Bundesliga, have checked into the game now.
And what it means is that Lawless has gone out, as you notice, and back into the defensive lineup has gone Sorber.
Now Winalda, as Hermosillo went for the sliding tackle and missed it, Winalda's got Wagner on his left. Winalda may be trying to do a little bit too much by himself right there.
Yeah, I think so. And he's got to keep his composure. They're starting to hammer him again.
And tripped up from behind.
This will be a card, too.
Salvatier's Galindo.
And he will miss the next game. The next game for Mexico, Galindo sits out.
Mason was the man tripped up over there.
Well, a couple of surprises now for Bora. This is a very interesting tactical move made by Coach Sampson, because Bora has not seen these players that much, nor has Mexico. Two players from the Bundesliga, one Wagner, the other Mason's fast players who play well with their back to goal.
Well, I asked Steve Sampson last night. I said, if it was tied, would you just play for the tie late in the game? He says, we will go forward. We will try to win this game. We will not play for a tie. As Reyna will take the kick. A high booming shot, swerves back around as Eddie Pope gives chase. And it go across the near side.
Well, I think...
How about Lawless's performance today?
Lawless did a pretty darn good job, I think. There was rumors, by the way, that he was going to play 2 games today, playing the second game for the Revolution, but he had his hands full with Hermosillo. I don't think he wants to take on Valderrama and company in the second game. But I think he did a pretty good job. Though, of course, he made up for the blunder against Costa Rica and was his old solid self.
Reyna trying to chip it in. Harks and Wagner. David Wagner gave chase. And Taikia, what about the substitutions for the U.S.?
Well, right now, Jeff Agus will have to mark Hermosillo since Lawless is no longer on the field. Also, the instructions to Mason from Steve Sampson as he went on was to remember you must defend as well as attack. So he doesn't want to throw caution completely to the wind going for this 3-point victory.
There's Jeff Agus, another tough-looking guy, a defender.
Substitution now for Mexico. Galindo coming out.
Number 14,
Joaquin Del Olmo going in.
So Bora doing a little substituting himself.
Well, Joaquin Del Olmo is a good, tough midfield player. The only player from Mexico who plays outside Mexico, plays in Holland. You see him getting a handshake from Stewart. He plays for Vitesse Arnhem in Holland. And, of course, Ernie Stewart plays against him.
Now, U.S., Mexico tied at 2. Mexico playing a man down, but they're moving forward right here. Hermosillo is 27. As Balboa giving chase and clears it across the near side.
Safety first by Marcelo Balboa. Mexico, even though they're down to 10 players, they have the talent to steal this thing with only 9 minutes to go. But the U.S. would love that, kind of like their chances to get forward and get a winner.
Well, if they would steal that, that would really be devastating for the United States. Stewart with the throw-in. Mike Sorber's been a rock in the middle today.
Dangerous ball in there from Stewart.
Now here comes Mexico. Ramon Ramirez is number 7. As Agus clears it out to the far side, and Michael Mason will chase it down. Ronaldo drops it back, and Eddie Pope with a long ball down to Mason.
What a ball!
Look at Michael Mason. Tripped momentarily. Wagner! Oh, goodness! The 2 young men for Germany were right there.
Well, what a superb ball from Pope. Played right into the stride of Mason, and Mason almost cynically tripped. Another attempt to trip. Look at this. This is very clearly an attempt to trip, although he puts his hands up, so maybe he did walk across him, and Mason tries to get it to Wagner. Wagner just a stride ahead of him. This has been a tremendous game for this crowd and for viewers watching in. Great soccer for the U.S.-Mexico rivalry.
Eddie Pope, Mike Sorber, Claudio Reyna. I'm Roger Twibel along with Seamus Mallon and Ty Keogh. It's tied at 2 after the own goal. And that was in the 74th minute. And Mexico playing one man down after Hernandez got the red card. He had scored the goal to give Mexico a 2-1 lead. Lawless backup keeper Brad Friedel. Next to him, Eddie Pope out of North Carolina. Now, once again, Mason. Wagner trying to center. It'll be a corner coming up for the United States.
Well, U.S. all over Mexico here. And Wagner upset with himself for not being able to clear that defender with his cross because he had two players in terrific position in front of the net who had lost their defenders. Couldn't get it to them. Huxley with the corner. And a lot of tired legs out there. Ernie Stewart, for the first time in my life, I've seen Ernie Stewart look tired.
Sixth corner kick of the day for the United States. Parks will take it. Mexico a man down.
It's out. Yeah, the ball went out. He swerved it out over the line. And after the corners, which looked so good in the first half when the U.S. was trying to get back into it, when they're on top of things, the corners have begun to come apart a bit. 6.5 to go, and the U.S. love to get a win here, but a little bit of delay here, somewhat deliberate.
Claudio Suarez will take that kick. Hermosillo, the only green shirt down there, as it's headed across the near side.
Well, you got to feel good about how the U.S. has played today, even if they don't pinch a win here, and it ends up as a draw. But
well, here comes Mason again. Here comes Mason again. Here comes Mason. Finally, Suarez takes it. Wagner, and just wide, and Ronaldo can't get there. Well, at the very beginning of the game, a mistake by Casey Keller, and he doesn't make many.
He sure doesn't. He tries to clear this ball, and incredibly, Hermosillo manages to get his head in front of it. And that was after 35 seconds. Now, that hadn't gone in, of course. We're looking at a different scoreline here. But we also might have been looking at a very different kind of game. Absolutely. This game has turned into a cracking game. It's just wonderful stuff. And the U.S. has showed its ability to come back from behind again. And I must say, to play some quality soccer. And that's what I think Steve Sampson was looking for after some disappointing performances.
Well, I think if there was any question if Steve Sampson would play for a tie at the end, that was answered when he put Wagner and Mason out.
Without doubt.
Now, after the foul, the start by Mexico. Now in the middle, Garcia Aspe. And breaking free over there, Ramon Ramirez. Ramirez sending it across. Free. Oh, goodness, what a dangerous situation as Del Olmo was right there.
Yeah, the fresh player, the last player the U.S. wants to see on the ball was Del Olmo. And Garcia Aspe fighting hard against Claudio Reyna. Claudio Reyna has played 86 minutes. We haven't seen that for a while.
Pardo 13.
U.S., of course, if they end up with a draw here, get 1 point. Each team gets a point. The U.S. would love to get 3. But given the way they've been playing of late, 1 point out of the game with Mexico is not to be sneezed at. They still have to go down to Mexico to play down there yet. Of course, that's a whole other ball game.
Mexico hasn't lost there in 17 years. That's a heck of a home winning streak.
Wow.
Well, you're playing at elevation. You're playing in that smog. And Canada and Jamaica both crumbled there. 4-0 and 6-0 results. As time is winding down, the U.S. with a man advantage. Tied at 2.
Well, Bora has been shown a thing or two by some of his former pupils and some people he never saw before. Eddie Pope was not one of his. Eddie Pope got a goal. And Tom Dooley, of all people, helped create the own goal, if you will, a little bit.
Now the U.S. getting organized. Vegas will find Ernie Stewart on the near side. Stewart marked there by Del Olmo. He gets right by him. He's got Wagner on the wing there. That's David Wagner, number 9. Stewart just went down right in the area at the top as Reyna sends it over to Sorber. And Ronaldo gets...
Too many touches by Ronaldo.
You know, he wants to get the game winner. You know, that's the way he thinks. As Mason...
Well, he may want to get the game winner, but he had a great chance to play a 1-2 with Sorber there. And Sorber has a fierce shot from outside. That was the move that was needed.
Well, you know, there are those players, Seamus, that don't want to take that big shot. You know, Winola wants it every time to take that big shot.
Not a bad characteristic to have on your team.
Agus has it knocked away. Ty, what's going on down to the sideline?
Bora Milutinovic very concerned about Mason's speed on the right for the USA. He's telling the Ramirez brothers to drop back. I really think they've been caught by surprise by Sampson's changes.
Yeah, I agree with Ty. I think this is nice to see for Sampson.
Oh, Wagner hit Pope. Can he turn on it? Gets it back to Stewart, who chips it. Ronaldo is nailed in the corner of the area. And cleared out by Mexico across the near side. And there, Ronaldo gets it in the back again.
Is getting bumped all over the place here.
That was Del Olmo. And Harks off the hand, and Rios will track it down.
And I must give credit to Ronaldo for not losing his composure here. He got punched in the head. He got whacked from behind after a physical tangle, and he did not turn around and retaliate.
Now Luan Blanc, Hermosillo 27, the only Mexican player down there. Sorber runs toward it. And oh goodness, almost a mistake right there. Look at him get it back. Took it away from Ramirez. You know, Ronaldo still doesn't have a shot on goal today. And maybe that's why he's so antsy, but he's got the ball right now. Eric Ronaldo sending it inside. Rios punches it away. Hawks headed away by the Mexicans. Oh goodness, what a great defensive play by Mexico.
Oh, that looked like the winner. It looked like the winner for sure. Tough ball from Stewart.
Down to the final minute of regulation. We've got some stoppage time, but what a great opportunity right there. Well, Mexico came up big defensively.
Great cross by Wijnaldum. Rios can't get to it through his own player. Flaps at it, misses it. Johnny Harks with a chance to put it in the corner.
Del Olmo was the man that got the header.
Del Olmo got the header off. Harks, he didn't quite get the full shot on it, but it was going in anyhow. And we're down to 30 seconds to go. And the Mexican team taking every second as they are on the rack right now.
And the foul, Pope and Hermosillo going after one another.
Well, the foul calls against Eddie Pope there. Hermosillo's experience coming through again as he really drew that foul. And time off the clock here, which is what Bora Milutinovic is quite happy with. If he can get a goal here, it'd be great, but he'll be happy with a tie.
We're in stoppage time now. United States 2, Mexico 2. Mexico playing short one man when Luis Hernandez got a red card.
Here's Garcia. He can hit him from here.
And Agus got a head on it. Look at Keller chase it down.
Great play by Keller, because that was a difficult ball, you have to say, from going out for a corner and going outside the area and handling it with his hands.
When those guys on the wall don't turn their head and they keep it in there like Agus do, they really give it up for the team.
And now another piece of gamesmanship, as typical for these games at this time. Stop the clock, or stop the game to get a substitution. Ramirez coming out.
It looks like
Pelaez going in.
Yeah, Pelaez, Ricardo Pelaez.
Who is a forward. But at this point, it's just fresh legs, and it's an attempt to slow things down a little bit, get the momentum away, prevent the U.S. from getting a last-second winner.
Mexico will have the throw-in deep in their own end.
Insisting that the assistants on the bench go back to the bench area.
Throw in there. And Reyna is able to take it away, and Harks will send it to Mason on the far side. Down to Wijnaldum. Eric Wijnaldum. As Eddie Pope's got to run and get it. Oh, Pope tripped up.
He's not giving it.
No.
Must not have been tripped, but it was a good attempt. A good attempt by Pope to win the ball. As you can see, 2 minutes, almost 2 full minutes of extra time. Time added on, I should say, for injuries, stoppages. What a tremendous game.
The United States, do they have one last gasp? Can they get a goal here in the waning moments? Wijnaldum. Wagner there, number 9.
Looked like a handball. No call.
No call. Reyna able to get a piece of it. Now trying to find Mason, and that's it. That is it. The United States and Mexico on this Patriots Day weekend here in Foxborough, Massachusetts, have played to a thrilling 2-2 tie where, Seamus, we saw a lot of things that you don't normally see in a soccer game.
We saw a classic, too. An absolute classic. The U.S. has still not lost at Foxborough. This has got to be their favorite field, and they put on an exhibition today. Both teams of competitive soccer, tough soccer, and a great match, and a harbinger of things to come. We hope for the U.S. as it's now beginning to play the kind of game that we saw in '95.